Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 158. It's Friday, November 17th. I'm your host, Kellen, with me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here. Raise the
So thanks for
roof on
joining us. Raise the Remember when Raise the Roof was such a big deal? And then, like, it became the ultimate, like, clown move that we just laughed at. Like, it is almost time for it to come back. And I know every once in a while people do bring it back and we just laugh as hard as we ever have, but
Let's
I
see.
feel like somebody needs to bring Raise the Roof back. Oh, the college kids will do it.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We had a week off, but we're back. I got lots of stuff to talk about. OnePlus 5T announced this week. Tim has a Razer phone. I reviewed the Moto X4, both variants of it. We have Pixel Buds and this little thing. There's some good stuff out there. Now, we're obviously kind of winding down the year. Like Google's phones are out. Samsung doesn't have anything else. LG doesn't have anything else. But we still did get a couple of phones recently. So, let's dive in. OnePlus 5T is obviously the big news of the week. So OnePlus 5T, we knew this was coming. OnePlus announced the date, I think, like a few weeks ago or something. They actually held a press event in New York City. And I think it's their first like live press event, I believe. They used to do like virtual reality things or just scripted videos that they would post online or something like that. This was like an actual press event where they got on stage and talked about the phone. Let's see. I guess we should just talk about what the phone is, and then we'll get into some of the other theatrics there. So the OnePlus 5T arrives November 21st. It costs $499 at starting price. That's with 64 gigs of storage. And that jumps up to $559, I believe. $559 for the 128 gig. So obviously most expensive OnePlus 5 phones in a while, or to date, I should say. The big difference here from the 5T and the 5 is the display. It's that all display front. It's still 1080p. It is an AMOLED, but it is that sort of all display 2:1 ratio. Otherwise, it's still got Snapdragon 835, 6 or 8 gig RAM configurations, 64 gig or 128 gig storage, 3300 milliamp hour battery. Is the battery an upgrade or is that the same as the 5? I don't know off the top of my head. I think that's the same.
I think that's the same. Maybe. It's hard to keep all the specs in my head.
I've got it though. Hold on. Oh, yep. Same. So same battery.
Yeah.
The design of the phone in general is basically the same outside of, again, that just the big display. So then they move the fingerprint reader to the back. I'm imagining that fingerprint reader is still probably about the fastest in the damn business because the one on the 5 still has a headphone jack, USB Type-C port with dash charge. The alert slider's back. Unfortunately, it's only running Nougat still, 7.1.1. And I believe they said a beta of Oreo is coming soon, but stable Oreo is not going to be until next year. Seems kind of weird. I mean, they run pretty much stock Android. Oreo was announced or released in August, I believe. We're like 3 months in. Kind of weird. Let's see. So the other thing, the other big change is the camera. So it's dual camera setup again, 16 megapixel standard shooter at f1.7. And then instead of a secondary telephoto lens, which they had in the 5, they just got rid of that and threw in a secondary 20 megapixel sensor that's also at f1.7 that they are claiming is specially made and configured and tuned to be able to shoot better in low light. So it's like as you get into a lower light, terrible situation, it's supposed to then take over and capture better pictures. The weird thing about that, obviously we need to get this in-house to test, but it's a 20 megapixel sensor. It's f1.7, but the micron pixels are even smaller than the regular shooter. So like on paper, it should actually be worse in low light than the standard shooter. So it's a little weird. I don't know that I mean, they must be doing some heavy software back-end processing stuff for this to actually do what they're saying it does. But again, we'll have to get one in-house. I think that's pretty much it. So it arrives November 21st, which is next Tuesday, I believe. Or is that Monday? Tuesday. So next Tuesday, you can buy this thing. I'm pretty sure it ships right away. I don't think they said like there's a pre-order. Like it's up for sale Tuesday, and you should probably get it pretty soon. It comes in midnight black. So far, that's the only color, but this is OnePlus. They often introduce like gold variants or gray variants or whatever. So we could see other colors.
It's probably a pretty hot phone in hand. My only real, I mean, of course it sucks. No Verizon support, so
Yeah.
a lot of people can't have it. Boo hoo. But another beef I have is they included a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I mean, that is such antiquated technology that it's weird that there's
Who
just.
does
I
that?
know. I'm
What are you
kidding.
doing,
I know.
OnePlus?
Don't crucify me. I'm just kidding. That's all good. Uh, I say it every time that OnePlus does this. If I was a OnePlus 5 owner, I'd be pissed. I would be trying to sell that phone and upgrade to this one, no doubt, because I mean, just the fact that you basically have the same hardware or same body, but with that bigger 18:9 aspect ratio display, it's pretty hot. You got that awesomely placed fingerprint reader on the back. Hopefully, better cameras. The OnePlus 5 does not have very good shooters, so any improvements in that department would be welcomed. Other than that, it looks like a pretty solid effort from OnePlus. Again, we haven't had hands on, and we will soon, but it
Yeah,
looks
it
cool.
looks like it kind of looks like the phone they should have released like out of the gate. Now I know they are probably, I don't know if they're waiting for some of these pieces to fall into place to be cheaper, whatever. But like, the OnePlus 5, I think at the time we said like it's kind of dated, right? Everyone's doing the all display front thing except you guys in HTC. And so this time they are doing that. Um a couple of people in the chat mentioned that the secondary camera is supposed to take 4 pixels and turn them into one large pixel to create better pictures. That is exactly what they're saying. So hopefully that actually turns into better low light. So yeah, we didn't go to the event, but Joey, who's in the chat, actually was there and he took some pictures for us and stuff like that. So we do have some pictures of it. If you guys are watching this live and you're in the chat, I'm sure he will share some thoughts. But yes, we'll have a phone soon. Next week we should have it actually. So we'll share our thoughts at that point. So far though, yeah, I mean I think this looks great. I mean, OnePlus, like last year, we gave the OnePlus 3T the phone of the year over a whole bunch of really good phones. I don't know that this phone will be phone of the year, but like it's still got that clean version of Android. Now we got the all display front, fingerprint reader on the back. So, and the hardware they make is nice enough. Assuming the cameras are better, yeah, this is like it's a pretty damn good phone. The only troubling thing is like these prices just keep creeping up and up.
I'm totally fine with that. I would actually be okay with them to up it even more. I mean, if we get into the territory of like $600+, as long as they add water resistance, something along those lines, maybe add a quad DAC. I don't know. Go to LG School of Marketing, just add a silly little DAC and then charge $50 for it. I don't know. The fact is, a phone's price, I mean, it's such a wide range these days, and you can get a really good phone for like these OnePlus prices, but I'm okay if it creeps up a little more if we can get some better stuff, like some better features or hardware. I don't know. It's kind of a jumbled mess in my brain, but I wouldn't mind seeing water resistance come from a OnePlus device. And I kind of hope next year we get one. Because, I mean, we've even got Pixel phones that have water resistance now. I mean, what were the chances? So I would like to see a little bit of that from OnePlus.
I think my only concern is, and I wrote an entire piece on it yesterday, is that as these prices creep up, we're still seeing what you just mentioned. They're leaving out things like water resistance. Still a 1080p display when everyone else is doing quad HD. And I know like that doesn't matter to everyone, but these are what we're talking about. When you're rising in prices and you want to compete with Samsung and LG and Google, you got to start matching them on this stuff. And we're not no 1080p, or I mean, it's still 1080p, no water resistance like at all, no official. It doesn't work on Verizon. We're starting to see some companies put in dual speakers, right? We're getting better audio experiences. Google did it this year. Obviously, your Razer Phone, HTC's been doing it. Next up, we just need LG and Samsung too. They're still doing single bottom firing speakers, but like they have a headphone jack, but like LG still has a headphone jack, but they're putting in like a DAC, right? Or like a quad DAC. So like these other companies are doing these things. And all those things I'm listing, like no SD support and all that stuff, like these have been issues like from day one. So like we're seeing the price go up but like all these same issues that we all kind of joke about every time a OnePlus phone comes out, they're still there. So I know they're improving other things. They're putting in the newest processor all the time. Now we've got all display front. They're changing up cameras and batteries, but like those issues that some of us complain about every time a OnePlus phone comes out, those aren't changing, but that price just keeps going. So,
Well, it's not as if they don't have some wiggle room to work with that they still want to undercut their competitors, right? I mean, we've got Samsung and LG up in the 800 plus, 900 plus dollars. OnePlus could still come in around 600, 650 and still be a complete contender. And their phones do rank against the other flagships phones. That's all
for
there
sure.
is to it. These are high-end devices. And so we compare them as such. But since we are comparing them as such, we have to point out the fact that it lacks certain things that these other phones don't have. But
Correct.
they still could for a lower price because they're already undercutting so much. So that's just the way
I just wonder if you have, like, say they put in water resistance and you get quad HD display. I don't know if they'll ever do that. And the phone's 650, and then you have the Pixel 2, which is 650, or Pixel 3, let's say 650. Are you gonna choose OnePlus over the Google guy, or like say like the Galaxy S9 is like 725, and the next OnePlus phone like kind of has a couple more of those things, and it's 650? Like that's not that big of a price difference anymore. I think what I worry about is like OnePlus stood out initially because there was value, and that's because it was a decent price and like a really nice set of specs, right? It was unlocked. You didn't have to go through a carrier, all this stuff. Like it stood out for a reason. Like the reason OnePlus is on the map is because they started out selling a $300 phone that was really, really, really good. And I know over the long haul, they probably can't make a ton of money doing that. So I get it, right? We start raising prices, we need to make money, but that's like the reason they stood out. And so as you get up closer to $600, now you're just another dude. That's just another guy competing with another phone. So I don't know that they stand out anymore. And I know people are throwing out this idea that like, well, $500 is still way cheaper than Samsung's 750 or 725. And it is. A couple $100 is a lot of money. The issue is though, like Samsung releases a phone at $700, just like LG does, and within a month or two, and you could call this BS on their part, but like they're slashing $100 off like immediately. I mean, the Galaxy S8 launched, and within about a month, you could get it for, with a trade-in possibly, and like another $100 or $150 instant discount, you could get the thing for like $500. And so that's like a separate issue, the pricing thing those guys are. But what I'm saying is like, even at 5 or 560, OnePlus is trying to match Samsung step for step, Google step, and I just don't know that they do. That's all.
Damn.
That doesn't mean they aren't still phones. I'm just saying like the appeal.
Sure.
Does that lessen as these phones really just want to go toe to toe with all these other big dogs?
Yeah, I know people love it when we talk about price.
Shout out to the price guy.
Yeah.
Hit us up in that inbox on Monday.
Yeah.
Look, it's a part of the story. If you don't like us talking about price, I'm sorry. Like this is how we talk about phones. So
other than price though, I like the OnePlus 5T, like the way it looks. Yeah. It looks cool. I guess I'm not totally overwhelmed just because it's a OnePlus 5, but with a different front panel. Yeah. And they're just taking what Oppo has and then slapping a OnePlus logo on it.
Unapologetically at this point, right?
Unapologetically. It's not even a mystery anymore and then they spin it on stage as if it's like their own idea, like, oh, we came up like with the, we want to integrate it if it's really going to benefit our customers. Like that's bull.
Yeah. But the Oppo R11 was announced like a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of a joke at one point. Now, like you really just kind of sit back and go, "Oh, Oppo announced a phone," and then like a week later, like OnePlus, ding, we got a phone to announce. You're like, "Oh, okay, well, we know what that's gonna look like."
Yeah.
So, I was playing with the OnePlus 5 most of this week actually, and yeah, like you can't beat the performance of OnePlus phones. Battery life is phenomenal on them. So I'm sure this phone will be great. Again, my concern is camera, like it always is. Like the OnePlus 5 camera is pretty bad.
Yep.
If the one's improved, let's do it. Even at 560 or whatever, $500.
Right.
So yeah. All right. Any other last words there on the 5T? Again, it comes out Tuesday.
I hope that whoever orders the phone gets it quickly, and that there's just no like ordering drama or anything like that.
Yeah, how far have we come? They actually during their press event talked about I think it was Carl Pei said something about
Get
like
paid.
how they they used to do this like invite system, and I think he was trying to talk about how it was like
It was
not
a
maybe
good
not
thing.
innovative, but yeah, he was kind of spinning it like it was a good thing, like Tim and I immediately went, "Don't ever bring up the invite system again." That was like the worst thing ever.
Don't even
We
talk.
spent like months talking about invites. Like I never want to talk about that ever again, if possible. Like do not ever bring that up as if it was a good thing. Man,
It's such innovation. Invite system. Yeah,
yeah,
we're good. And then people selling their chances to buy it. I mean, they brought up all that stuff. Like, that's all negative. Like, don't bring up negative. What are you
no.
doing?
Like the good parts of OnePlus's history are the fact that they made really good phones at affordable prices. The bad parts are like the promotion leading up to the first couple of phones, and then the stupid invite system, and then they made that OnePlus X for some reason.
That
Like
was a
that,
nice phone. It's too. I mean, I'm just totally off subject, but that was a nice phone. It just was not supported in the U.S.
yeah, it didn't have LTE even, I don't think.
Right.
Um, so yeah, good. This looks like a good phone. Yeah, just funny. Some of those things that were brought up, but all right. Any other thing to talk about with the OnePlus 5T? Again, we'll have one next week. We're supposed
Yeah.
to.
So be on the lookout.
Yeah. All right. So Tim has a Razer phone.
I do.
Razer phone. You could buy the Razer phone also. It's been up for order for a couple days.
Thing's a freaking beast.
Yeah. Do you want to recap it a little? Talk about some thoughts. You've had it for now a couple of days.
I could do that. So I guess I'll just give you like the rundown of the specs and all that. I love the back, that Razer logo. So hot.
Next bit.
I know. Well, that's funny because I've got the next bit robbing right to it, and they are, they're twins.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
just
are.
the Razer is the beefy big brother, not like it's like candy bar style. It's cool. So I guess just to recap it's got a 5.7-inch quad HD LCD display with a refresh rate of up to 120 hertz. You can adjust that. So if you don't need 120 refresh, you could just drop it down a little bit. I've had it on 120 since I set that out of the box, and seems fine. It really hasn't like dampered or hindered my battery experience or anything like that. On the inside, Snapdragon 835 processor, the latest and greatest. 8 gigs of RAM. So when OnePlus yesterday mentioned that, we're the only ones in the industry doing 8 gigs of RAM.
Did they really say that?
Yeah, they're lying to you. Razer Phone has it too.
Wait, did they really say
Yes,
that?
they did. They said we're the only ones doing 8 gigs.
What? Okay.
I'm dead serious. 64 gigs of built-in storage, does support expandable. Dual rear-facing cameras, got one 12 megapixel wide, and then you've got a 13 megapixel. Bossy 8 megapixel front-facing camera, huge 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and a fingerprint reader embedded in the side with the power button on the right side. So if you're right-handed, you use it with your thumb. If you're left-handed, you use it with your index finger.
I'm a big fan of that.
I'm a huge fan of that. So yeah, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people are reporting this. But
Everybody.
they were asking me, how do I like it? How do I like the fingerprint reader? It's really good. The only problem is that to get it to act upon you placing your finger on it, you have to press down on the power button to sort of wake the device and then unlock it. You can't just use it like a Samsung phone or a OnePlus phone where you just put your thumb there and it unlocks, which is fine, I guess. But it's just kind of annoying that you have to press it. And then the phone is really big. Yeah, it's a 5.7-inch display. So say if we were talking about the Galaxy S8, I mean, the body would be so much smaller, right? Because we're talking curves and
You
all
could
that.
probably fit the Essential phone inside the speakers of that, I bet.
Oh, and let's find out here. I've got I could just line it up for you.
It
And
almost does.
yeah, so you've got the
Same size display.
exactly. So you've got these massive dual front-facing speakers, which are extremely loud. I haven't been able to crank them all the way. Like I want to crank them, but I just haven't been in a scenario to do that because they'll blow your freaking ears out. Super loud, but that is the problem. The phone is just too big and clunky. 90-degree angles all over the place. It's extremely flat. So when it's in your pocket, it just feels massive.
Feels like you got a little brick in there.
Little brick in there, which is cool. Like, okay, it's cool when you're like playing video games, you've got the sound cranked, I'm playing my Star Wars or watching a movie. Everything looks and feels good. But then as soon as you're not using the device, it becomes a pain.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess it's good like when you're using it, but I don't always want a phone that is like hard for me to put into my skinny hipster jeans.
Yeah.
So that's a toughie. It's a downside to it. Other than that, I've been having good battery life. I've had the phone now for a day and a half. So yesterday was my first full day of like battery testing. I got over 4 hours of screen on time, playing my games, all that, but I got that, but I had like 50% battery left.
What did you have the refresh rate at?
120. I've had it 120 the entire time.
Crazy.
Yeah. What's also really nice though is that inside the settings menu, there's what's called a game booster. I know you're probably gonna have trouble seeing that, but it allows you to essentially set the clock speed for the processor. Allows you to set the resolution for certain games you have. It allows you to set the frame rate for game specific titles. So say I want my Star Wars game to play at 120 frames per second. I want another game to just play at 90. I can do that. So it's a nice little tweak that they've got there in the software, and that's just a side loadable app that they have from Google Play. So it's not even built like into the system, which is really nice. So they've been sending bug fixes to it through Google Play updates and all that. So it's very cool. The phone is cool. You know, like it's black, dual cameras, Razer logo all big on it and stuff like that. It feels like a gamer's phone. And as a gamer myself, I like it. But
okay, so two things. How terrible is the camera, and what's just general software performance like? Because it's basically stock Android, right? With Nova Launcher.
Yeah, the software is really good. I really like the software. They've got that built-in themer, you know, that lets you change
the JFS that is essential.
That is essential. No, not even close. Okay. Like this phone performs really well, and with 8 gigs Snapdragon 835, it better perform really well, and it does. The camera, I haven't used it much. We've had some super crappy weather here, so I haven't been out shooting, but I took a picture today with HDR mode on, and it looks, I'm looking at it right now, it looks really good.
Really?
Actually. Yeah. So, of course, this weekend, I'll be doing a lot of shooting because I hope to have the full review up next week, later in the week, next week. So I'm hoping that the camera's good, but I'll be the first to let you know if it sucks. Like, I don't care. I don't, you know, if it's bad, it's bad. I'll let you know. But so far, so good.
So it's just a big old phone. That's awesome if you want to like consume media, play games, but it's not the most mobile phone ever.
Yeah. Yeah, $699. I mean, that's not a bad price for what it is. I mean, for the spec beast it is, 120 hertz refresh rate, which is a first for smartphones. 8 gig RAM. I mean, they're the only ones doing that in the industry.
Only ones doing that.
But it does come with Nougat, Android 7.1.1. So I'm
okay. So let's compare. Let's talk pricing.
Okay.
So they compare that to the OnePlus 5T. OnePlus 5T starts at $200 cheaper, but it doesn't have that display. Doesn't have as big a battery. Doesn't have those speakers. But they have like the same RAM, same processor. They both have dual cameras that could be questionable.
Maybe. I don't know.
You said the performance is good. I'm just trying to, you know, like I just got done railing on OnePlus about these rising prices. I'm just trying to put this, you know, like, do they compare? I guess you do have some upgrades in the Razer phone.
Well, I mean, this does have QHD display, 120 hertz refresh.
Well, and it actually is a first of its kind.
Exactly.
IGZO 120 hertz. Yeah.
The display is dope. Like, it looks good.
Like you can tell just scrolling through things how awesome it looks.
Oh god, it's so smooth. Like when
Yeah.
you're just scrolling on the phone or going through apps or whatever, it's just smooth.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much the refresh rate really plays into that, or if it's more of like a just an effect that maybe the setting has like on your eye, like a placebo effect.
Yeah.
But it's good.
So not to cut you off, but your focus when you pushed your phone really close like that and took it away, it never regained on your face. You're just looking blurry.
Oh, that's on my side. I look fine on my side. I don't know what you want me to hear. Maybe
Maybe it's just my terrible internet.
no. Someone else in the chat was mentioning it.
Yeah, they did.
Hey man, I mean, I don't know how you get the
I don't know what happened. It was like when
No.
you did that zoom in and like all that white on the screen, like your camera just went, ah, and then like you zoomed back out and then
come on, baby. Oh, am I back?
You're back.
I'm back.
There it is.
Thank goodness.
Oh, webcams.
Sorry
So
about
awesome.
everyone who's watching me live talk about a smartphone. I need to be in focus.
It's better now, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so you're gonna have review next week.
have
For this
review.
bad boy.
This thing is it's just a media consuming beast.
Have you enjoyed using it?
I have
Okay.
enjoyed using it. I handed it to my girlfriend and she was like, she didn't even know what to think because I always do those girlfriend impressions in the reviews. She hates it. I mean, it's just so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I don't like is the volume button.
Oh yeah, those look a little weird. They're just like little dots on the side, right? Oh, we lost him. You just rejoined. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, you were saying the volume button, something about them.
Yes, the volume buttons. If everything would stop freaking out on me. So the volume buttons on the left side, it's not a rocker. It's two separate physical buttons, and they're just little tiny.
They look weird.
I'm not even going to try and put it up to the camera right now. But I'm not a huge fan of that. That's like one of the things that I don't like, but I'll get into everything else later in my review. But so far, so good. If you guys have any questions, just hit me up on Twitter or in the comments section or whatever.
It reminds me of this new category of phones I think you and I have created called the stay-at-home phone. It's like the essential phone, and that phone, like it's the media beast. Like you want it near you when you're at home sitting on the couch, but like when you leave the house, you're like, I don't really want to take this with me because it's too huge and the camera price sucks. Same thing with the essential phone. Like I love using it at home, but I would never at this point leave the house with it because the camera's so terrible. The leave at home category of phones.
That's probably right. Like this would be perfect for just sitting on the coffee table and just hanging out, not going anywhere. Can't take it outside. Like the essential phone because the camera's so bad, you just can't leave the home with it.
Yeah, leave them at home phones.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Razer Phone, you can buy that thing now, $699. It doesn't work on Verizon, just like OnePlus.
Mohan in the chat is saying, for the love of God, talk about OnePlus 5T. You might want to like just scrub back to the beginning, and we talked about it for like 20 minutes.
We did. It was the opening topic.
It was.
We talked about it a lot. All right. I reviewed the Moto X4 this week.
You did?
Two versions of it. I wish I still had them sitting on my desk so I could show, but they're in the box already for good reason. So Moto X4, we haven't talked a ton about it, but Moto X4 is Motorola's. What the hell? Where does this phone even fit? Like we always call like mid-range, but that's like the G line.
This is like straight budget phone, right?
But not really, because like budget to me is like the Moto E,
okay.
like a $200 phone, or like $150. And then you have the G, now you have the X, and then you have Z, which is like the high end. I honestly, this is like its own weird category. So
it's a hybrid.
It is. So Moto X4, $400 phone. There is a Motorola version that's just Motorola style with their little software tweaks and all that. And then there's the Android One version that works on Project Fi, and it's just slightly trimmed down Android, but it still has some of Motorola's tweaks to it. They're both $400. You can also buy it at Amazon with Amazon ads for like $330, which is a decent deal. So Anyways, I reviewed side by side the Motorola version, Android One. I like used one for a whole day, and then the next day I switched to the next. And I just kind of went back and forth with them for about a week, up to the review. So my thoughts are really, I don't think I would tell anyone to buy this phone. And I don't say that often. For me, the problem with it was just straight terrible performance. And you're that's coming from the guy who still likes the Essential phone, which has kind of bad performance. This is like, I don't know. So I guess if we talk about good things, like design's fine, it's got that all glass. It looks pretty. I mentioned in the review, like I had a couple people like last weekend, right before I wrote up the review, go, "What is that phone?" And that doesn't happen very often because most phones just kind of look alike these days. But I had two people say, like, "What is that? That's a really nice looking phone." In terms of specs, it's actually pretty decent. For $400, it's Motorola's like first water resistant phone at IP68. Has a dual camera and it's got a 1080p display, Snapdragon 630, all that good stuff. Software is clean. Battery life was solid. Um, at $399, I don't think that's a bad price. It works on all carriers, including Verizon and Project Fi. If you get the Android One version, like there's quite a bit to like here, but my problem really was the performance. And again, I had two versions. I had the regular one and the Android one. And it was like, I showed my wife, like, I go, watch this. And I just flicked slowly in the app drawer. And it was just like, and like on both phones. It wasn't a one. This wasn't like I just had a bad unit. Like both phones were the exact same way. And one was supposedly running like Google's leaner version of Android than even Motorola ships, which is kind of crazy. So just like it was like tapping on an app to open it. Like there was a pause there. Like I would hit Instagram and I would sit there for like, it's not like it was sitting there for 10 seconds before it loaded Instagram, but it was like a second and a half longer than I'm used to, right? Like I like tapping on things and it happening like that. And it was like tap, wait. The other thing I thought was really odd was the Motorola version. Like Motorola turned off all animations out of the box. And to access those, you have to enable developer options. So like most people wouldn't know how to do that, right? So it was like jarring. Have you used a phone in a while that has zero animations? It is not a fun experience. Like I know, like I complain about Samsung's like overuse of animations because things like are zooming in and out everywhere on a Samsung phone. But the opposite of no animations, it's jarring. Like you hit something, it just goes like it just flashes almost. So anyways, I had to turn those on, and I think that probably killed performance. It was bad. In the comments of the review, I had some people say like they own the phone and they don't have any of those issues. And I also had a bunch of people say that they do have the same issues. They sent the phone back already for the exact same reasons I said to avoid it. So I don't know what the deal is. All I know is I had two different versions and they both had some of the worst performance I've used on a phone in a while. And again, that's saying a lot because I like the Essential phone and its performance is pretty crappy. So I just don't think it's a good buy at $400 because of those.
So out of the box, in developer settings, it had animations turned off.
No. So out of the box, developer options not enabled.
Right.
Like Motorola just had like they programmed the phone or whatever. Yeah, they had animations off. And so I went in and opened up developer options and looked, and sure enough, like all the animation scales were all zeroed out. Like they did it on purpose.
Right. I mean, and we've seen that before. I think a few years back, I saw like a Huawei phone do that or whatever. And it's like, it's like they know that the phone is kind of weak in the performance department. They try and speed it up that way. And
it's like a fake way of speeding things up. Yes.
Yeah, it's very faux, very.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, what are you doing, Motorola? Like, that's odd. And so I turned it back on because, it almost gave me a headache, like watching things just go, like just zip, like you need like some sort of, I feel like our eyes are accustomed to that. So it was kind of weird. It was kind of a telling moment though, but yeah, I had to turn it off out of the box. So Moto X4, I don't, and the camera's like pretty average. It's got a dual shooter. And they do LG's version, which is like a standard and a wide angle, which I like. They're 12 megapixel, 8 megapixel. Camera's pretty slow to load. It just, the pictures are just kind of average. Indoors, not great, obviously. I don't know. I mean, it's, like for me, if your performance of your phone and then your camera on top of it are bad, like it would be pretty tough for me to recommend anyone go buy it. And I don't know that I've said in a while, like just straight up pass, but this is definitely a pass for me. Sorry, Moto X4. And hey, if you own the phone and you're enjoying it, good. It's just not one I'm probably going to recommend anybody else take that chance on. Anybody in the chat say that they have one?
I don't think so.
Did it make the Snapdragon 630 snappier? I don't know. That's one thing I'm surprised about is like Motorola's phones. Well, like how often have I talked about the Moto Z Play and the Moto Z2 Play and even the G5? Like they all kind of run that Snapdragon 625, 630 ish somewhere in there, and they all run great. Like I bet if I pulled last year's Moto Z Play out of the box, I bet it would run 10 times better than this phone. So too bad, really. All right. I also have these guys, Pixel Buds. Had these in house most of the week. I'd probably review them already, but like I don't ever use headphones. So I will try though, in case you guys want a Pixel Bud review. There's been some early reviews out, and I think my thoughts are similar to what everyone else has said. So they come in this little case, and we did an unboxing of these in case you missed that. But the case is like this. So these are just like little things. So like if you look at this, you can see there's like this little flap right here, right? So you would think like that would help you open it, except that's not a flap that goes up, like it goes down. And there's no flap to like just lift the top. Like you have to like, I honestly don't even know how you're supposed to open it other than like grab this thing and try to pull it apart. Like it's so weird. Like opening it is just not even fun. I don't know who designed this little case, but it sucks. In terms of like comfort and things like that, they're fine. They're a little big for my ears, I think. I wore them for a couple hours the other day, and like I definitely had little ear fatigue going on. I need to take them out running to see if they'll stay put, but I'm kind of worried that the string that comes out, like the string you use to adjust them, will probably loosen. Like just looking at them right now, the strings look like they've dropped back some from where I initially had them. So that's not good. They're not holding that. The cool thing is like the assistant integration on here. Like you get a notification and it like you hear it. For one, you know it's a notification, like it's the sound you would get from your phone if you had the sound turned on. That happens in your ear. And then you can just tap it and it'll read the notification to you. And if it's like a properly, I think, configured app like Hangouts, it'll say like, do you want to respond? And you just kind of say, I think you say yeah, or maybe you just tap, and then you just say like whatever you want, and then it responds. And like it actually, the way it works is really, really cool. Like the assistant functionality of it is actually pretty awesome. But it's also kind of confusing. Like one time you were sending me a message and I think I responded to you, and then you sent me like another message, and I tapped the side of it at some point and it goes, "You've muted notifications from Tim for 30 minutes. And I was like, wait a minute, I did not do that. And then I couldn't figure out how to unmute you. So I was getting notifications from you, but I could no longer respond or hear them. But like my other ones from like inbox were coming in and they were saying, so it was like, and I didn't know how to like turn it off. I don't even know what I did to make it mute you for 30 minutes. It was weird. So in terms of music, I think they sound pretty good for being buds. I thought they had pretty decent bass. I've seen some reviews say they have zero bass, but I actually thought that they had more than I was expecting from a little pair of buds. So I don't know. We'll give them a run, but it's $160 is kind of a lot of money for these. So
yeah, and they're wired. I'm just not using like wired earbuds.
Yeah, the wire. I mean, you can go buy various like fully wireless earbuds on the market these days. For under $160, and they don't have this wire. I know they don't have that awesome assistant integration, but I mean, I don't know if that's that big of a selling point. I guess I shouldn't shortchange like that. The assistant stuff in there is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if $160 is that cool. Pairing these things is a pain in the ass.
I thought it was supposed to be all super fast and cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's not though. So it does the. Somebody just pulled up to my house.
Creepy.
Yeah, I think it's bug people. We had an ant the other day.
Had a single ant.
They're gonna like spray. No, there's just like one part in our house where like a couple ants get in every once in a while, and we have people come like quarterly to spray everywhere. And so, anyways, we called them. We were like, guys, there's a couple ants back. Get your butts back.
Working, yeah, get your butt out here.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the pairing is supposed to be easy. Like if you have the new Google Play services and you have these, and you have Bluetooth on, you're supposed to just like open up the case, set it next to it. And it's supposed to like go, cool, let's do quick connect. And if you don't get that the first try, it just like stops trying to connect to your phone. Like it's actually pretty frustrating. And then if your phone isn't able to do that smart connect thing, or you want to pair it to another device, because it can only be paired to one device at a time, you have to like put them back in the box and long press on this button over here. And then it goes into pairing mode, and then you can pair again. Like it's kind of a mess. And yeah, you really can only be connected, I believe, to one device at a time. So there's some limitations there for sure.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't think this is the worst product ever made, but I think it feels like a pretty poor first attempt. That's for sure. The assistant stuff's cool. The rest of it, I don't know. Hopefully they'll make some different versions that don't suck. Hopefully they make some truly wireless ones. I don't know.
I don't know.
No one in the Pixel Buds at all after that.
Yeah, I mean, we I see some disappointment in the chat with the Pixel Buds. One person, Leslie, is just like going off on the Pixel Buds, but I'm not going to repeat anything he's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bug guy's like knocking on my door. Bug guy, just go spray. I can't come to the door right now, bro.
He's like, I see you right there.
He probably does too. Yeah. Usually they just like tell me that they're here and they're like, we're gonna spray, and I just go, okay.
Yeah, just give him the thumbs up.
He's not like looking at me. I have no idea. I'll just
Whatever.
do his thing. So yeah, the Pixel Buds, like it's a tough call. Like they look kind of cool. Functionality is sort of there. It'd be, dude, I'm gonna have to like go answer this door, huh?
Yeah, I can talk about stuff.
All right, you just talk to the homies. I gotta talk to Bug Guy.
Jeez. Yeah, well, while Kellen's doing the bug thing, I can at least talk to you about what Kellen wrote up a post saying, where is Nvidia Spot? And every month, if anyone follows me on Twitter, every month I talk about Nvidia Spot availability, because it was announced back in January of 2017, this year, and it was going to be awesome. You were going to just put these little kind of plug things, into your phone or into your wall outlet. They would pair with Nvidia TV, which now has Google Assistant. So that's what we thought we were waiting for. We were waiting for the Shield TV to get Google Assistant, and then Nvidia would release Nvidia Spot. But Assistant's here, and still no Spot. And I've reached out consistently about once every couple of months to a good friend we have at Nvidia, one of their PR people. I say, hey, man, where's Spot at? And he always says, I got nothing new to report. And it really grinds my gears. And I think that it all kind of boiled over into Kellen's post the other day. And I think he's right on. It's like, where is the Spot? Spot still serves a good purpose.
You're talking about Nvidia Spot.
Yeah, we're talking about Spot, man. Because I didn't want to talk about anything. I can talk about Spot because I'm so passionate about it. But
Spot.
It's just a frustrating thing, right? Because now Google has come in with Google Home Mini for $50. And it was
what they wanted to charge Spot.
Exactly. And now you can't do that, right? Because Spot doesn't offer everything that Home Mini does. So you can't offer it at the same price. But if they could come in around $30, I would still buy like 5 of them just to put around my house. That would be so awesome.
I still think it has a place, right, in your house. Like I have a Google Home Mini right here. It's fine. I have a desk right here too, but like in my bathroom, I don't want to have a Home Mini with a cord drug all over the thing, but I do have plugs in my bathroom. I just stick one of those in there, talk to it, whatever. Yeah, I think there's a place for that. $50 definitely seems like a bit much, because they're not a fully featured home unit. They're supposed to, at least when they talked about them on stage, I think they were still in concept form at that point, but it was like they actually are supposed to just talk to Shield TV. Like that's actually where all the processing happens. They just kind of connect over Wi-Fi or something, and then they kind of communicate that way. So they're not like a fully baked hardware product like a Home Mini, but yeah, I still think there's value there. Clearly they don't.
I would think so.
I wish they would tell us something. I wish they would say something. That thing was supposed to be out by the end of the year. And I know we had like a Google Assistant, what seemed like a delay anyway of that getting to Android TV, which I think was part of the hang up. But like they've released that SmartThings link. So like when they announced Spot at CES, it's crazy that was CES. They said Assistant's coming, Smart Link's coming, and we have this new Shield. And so they like built out this whole like line of ideas that needed to come together for Spot to basically work. And like we're there, but we still don't have Spot.
And it just doesn't even seem like it's coming.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, but that's dumb. I mean,
I agree that is dumb.
It's a cool product, and I think it could still work. It seems like Shield TV was pretty popular. We had a lot of people talking about it. So, and I know a lot of people that own it. You know, a lot of our readers. So
yeah, Shield TV is great. I have two of them in my house. One in the two TVs. I have one on each.
Yeah,
because it's actually pretty great. All right. So speaking of that, then that leads us into my other piece. I've been writing a lot of like Kellen's soapbox opinion pieces this week.
You're so opinionated.
Dick. So I talked about how Google needs to make a new Android TV box is what I was getting at. And I think I mentioned this, or we talked about this. I think right after their hardware event on the 4th, we were like, the only thing they didn't announce is a new TV, like a Pixel TV, and we think they should. Anyways, this week that all, as well as the Spot stuff, boiled over, and I was like, I need to talk. So yeah, I made the pitch that Google needs a new Android TV box, whether that's called Pixel TV or Google Home TV. I don't know. It's Google Home TV actually probably makes more sense. But their current product is the Nexus Player, which is 3 years old. So what kind of got me going on that was the Nexus Player picked up an update, the November security patch, because it's still getting updates. It runs Oreo. And that new update for this month included Google Assistant. So the Nexus Player, which again is 3 years old and has terrible specs, by the way. It's got like an old Intel chipset, like Intel, who doesn't really do anything in the Android space, right? It has 1 gig RAM, 8 gig storage. Like the specs on it are awful, and it's still getting updated. It runs. It's the only Android TV running Oreo, and it now has Assistant too. So I just made this pitch that like, guys, like we need something to replace this. Like if you want to showcase like new Android TV features, you need new hardware to do so. It would fit in nicely with all your other Google Home products and casting things to it. This new media experience, you're pushing YouTube TV, all this stuff. And you know, it's not like I was looking for an answer from Google. I'm just telling them like this would be a great product. And we got a lot of pushback, and this is where that Shield comes up, where you said like a lot of our readers seem to be excited about Shield and have Shield, and most of them said, "Shut up, Kellen, just go buy Nvidia Shield." And I get that, but Shield, as good as it is, and again, it is the product I use to control all of my media. It's not running 8.0 yet. You know, like the Nexus Player behind me is, because there's one right there. So like Nexus Player is, and it does have Assistant on the Shield, but it doesn't have the new Android TV experience. Do you think the bug guy? Did you see the bug guy walk by?
Hey, bug guy. Yeah, that's the DL offices, man.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully he's good. I was like, sorry, bro, I'm doing a podcast. I was like that guy. Sorry, dude, I'm in the middle of a podcast. I gotta go. Like I totally
that's like so 2017 problem.
He's like stupid millennial. I'm not even a millennial, but I don't know what he's doing now. Hopefully everything's good. That's pretty funny. Anyway, so the Shield stuff, right? Like everyone's talking about how great Shield is, and it is still really great, but like the newest Shield that came out, it's actually like 2.5-year-old hardware, right? It's the same as the 2015, you're just in a cheaper plastic shell. So it's like that's kind of aging, even though it still performs really well. Like that's not necessarily the newest stuff either. So anyways, like I get that Shield's there and it's a great product, and people, if they bought it still today, they're still going to get a great product. But Google needs its own hardware to showcase like where it wants Android TV to go. And they can't rely on partners like Nvidia to do that, even as good of a job as Nvidia has done. I mean, like the Shield is running like September security patch. Like it's not even up to date on all security. So I just want like a Pixel TV or something.
I would be so down with that. And like you said, it would fit perfectly in with their existing product lineup, their
Right.
family, and it should be called Pixel TV. I think that would be best.
I think that would be best too. I just don't know that that actually fits because it would be more of like a home. But yeah, I think Pixel TV would be a cooler name than Google Home TV. It
Yeah, I don't
doesn't
like
even
that much.
it doesn't even really
I,
make
I
any
don't want
sense.
Chromecast TV either. Like I want Chromecast is essentially except for the product itself. I mean, we don't Chromecast things anymore, right? We just
Just
Google
cast.
cast it, Google cast.
Actually, I don't actually know that because anything that has casting built in now, it's now called Chromecast built in, isn't it? Didn't they like change the branding to something really confusing?
I thought the branding was Google Cast.
It was, but now I think it's Chromecast built in.
God, never mind then. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I think they changed it to something really weird like that that doesn't make that much sense to any of us.
I guess that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm seeing if I can find it now. I can't find it now, but I believe that's what it was changed to. So like, it's not like it's still casting, but everything's labeled as Chromecast built. And it's so ridiculous. Speaking of that, so a lot of people also said that, well, they already have Chromecast. Like, what do they need their own Android TV box for? Well, those are two different products. So I've seen some people, and like our story got over on Reddit, and I think I saw some people saying like they would cannibalize like Chromecast sales. Like, what? They're two different products. If they're still selling products, they're still selling products, right? Like, don't you still make money if you're still? It's just so weird. So also, Chromecast is not the most fun experience ever. Like, do you cast much? Well, for a while you were casting YouTube TV.
Yeah, if I'm forced to cast,
But if you didn't have to, you wouldn't, right?
no, if there's a native app I will use the native app every 100% of the time.
100%. Casting, while it is a really cool technology that's pushed a lot of media streaming forward, I think it drives me nuts because it's like it's kind of easy to get into initially. Like, you're in an app, you want to play something, you hit the cast button, right? But then I mean the comment, like if I'm in Twitter and like on my phone, like if I want to change like a channel, I have to like go back into the app, and hopefully like the casting is still like connected, because that disconnects a lot. And then you change it, and you have to jump in between apps to do that stuff. Whereas like Shield TV or a Pixel TV, you just have a controller and you just change it. That sort of native TV experience. So Chromecast is fine. Shield TV is fine. Google still needs their own hardware, because again, this is their platform, and right now they don't have hardware. You can't buy a Nexus player. They don't have hardware to showcase it on. So like Android Oreo has a new Android TV layout that no one has probably ever seen or knows anything about. Like, it's on this monitor behind me, and I don't know that I really like it, but I'm just saying, like, they have a new experience and no one knows anything about it.
Yeah.
So there goes the bug guy. See you later, bug guy.
I'm really liking this bug guy.
Yeah, he was nice. He didn't laugh at me when I told him I was podcasting. So.
Oh, he's like, oh yeah, totally understandable. I got a bug podcast myself. I totally know what's up.
Probably totally does.
Yeah.
All right. Verizon news this week. So yeah, this is always fun. So Verizon had some sort of roundtable at their headquarters with some tech publications, PC Mag being one that was there. And they talked about, future of the network, and shutting down CDMA, their CDMA network, or I believe they're going to like refarm it or flip it over to being LTE at some point. But what I thought was interesting is they specifically said to PC Mag, when we shut down CDMA, don't just think that like you can grab whatever unlocked phone you want, just bring it on over to our network and hang out on our network, which is kind of what we've all been thinking we might be able to do. Like, a lot of us have been counting down the days, right? Because like phones don't, like, for example, OnePlus phones, what was the other phone? Oh, the Razer phone we just talked about. Like, they don't support Verizon. And a lot of that, at least our understanding, has been for years that getting that certified on Verizon's CDMA network took too much money and time, and it just wasn't worth it. And it's just too expensive. It took too long. So no one did it. So we were assuming that once CDMA died and LTE, because LTE is like an open standard for the most part, and especially Verizon on their Block C, their 700 megahertz Block C spectrum is supposed to be, they're supposed to allow devices. Like there's like an asterisk that says like, unless it affects the network kind of thing. So Verizon always kind of has an out. But either way, we assumed that when CDMA went away and LTE, we'd just be able to like people just toss in that Verizon band and their LTE support and we just bring phones over. So Verizon says, we're not going to let that happen. And they tried to play it like, actually the CDMA hasn't been the issue for a long time. We're still just requiring anyone, even with LTE phones, to go through our certification process. And their argument, which actually makes sense, but I hate it. They said, look, if you bring any phone over here and you have a problem and it hasn't been certified, you're not going to blame the phone. You're going to blame Verizon's network. And they're right. Like that's exactly what would happen. If I bring a phone over to Verizon that's not certified and I don't have service, I probably would complain to them. Either way, what they're saying is you're not going to be able to do that. You can't just bring any phone over. They're still going to make them certified, all that stuff. So things aren't really going to change. And I think that pissing people off, but it usually does when we bring up this stuff about Verizon.
That's typical Verizon, man.
Yeah. The thing is, if you have a phone that has Verizon's LTE bands, like you can put your SIM in and it will work. Like I talked about in this post, like I have an Essential phone and out of the gate for the first month or so, like it wasn't certified on Verizon. Now it has the proper CDMA LTE radios in there. And I put a SIM in for Verizon and it fired up and connected to Verizon right away. But I have an active SIM. If you don't have an active SIM and you go into a store and you want to sign up for service with a phone that's not certified, Verizon won't do that. So that's kind of always been the catch. And it's been like that for years. And it sounds like that's going to continue to be the thing. So sorry, guys. Crushing dreams this week on the Verizon unlocked phone front.
Womp womp.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. But is that surprising? This is Verizon we're talking about. They don't.
It's not surprising at all.
No, it's not. So, anyways, all right. So we asked this week in a poll, and this kind of falls in line with OnePlus 5T and the Razer phone because neither are water resistant, right? We said, does your phone need to be water resistant? Just a simple yes or no. And actually 68% said yes.
What?
Yeah. 68% said yes.
I'm shocked.
I'm actually shocked that it's not slightly hot. Actually, I don't know what I think about that now that I look at that number.
I just
know that I would have I use the Essential phone. It doesn't have water resistance. It scares the shit out of me every time I go anywhere, but I don't know that it's make or break for me.
Every time I feel like I talk about how phones need to have water resistance these days, all I have are people saying like, what? Like, that's just you. Like, I'm just more careful with my phone, like these elitist people. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, wouldn't you just like to not have to be careful? Like, isn't it? It's just like an added layer of protection from life, like the rain. Like maybe they don't live in Seattle and Portland where we just have rain, 75% of the time. But I think it's awesome having water resistance. And so that, I'm using the Razer phone. It doesn't have it. That sucks. Like I have to be careful with it, or the Essential phone or whatever. But like if I got the Pixel 2, I'm out and about walking the dogs, I can just, whip it out, take pictures in the rain. Like I don't even care. We can do our awesome photos and lay it down on rocks, wet rocks on it. We just don't care. It's nice. So nice. The fact that people don't take it more seriously, I guess, like that it should be just like a feature on every phone. Kind of
should be on every phone.
It just should be on every phone. Yeah. I mean, we're to that point, I think.
I think so too.
If Samsung can do it and still have a super sexy phone, same with LG, the V30, super sexy phone. I mean, even Google's doing it now. I mean, come on.
HTC's doing it now.
HTC's doing it. Everyone's doing all the big dogs are doing it. So it'll trickle down. It'll trickle down. We've known for years now that trickle down works. So
who isn't doing it? Essential, OnePlus, Razer. Even Motorola's X4 now is IP68. So Motorola's starting to do it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all the big guys are doing it.
Apple's obviously doing it.
Apple's doing it.
So all the big dogs, but then no OnePlus. So no OnePlus, no Essential, no Razer. Is Huawei? They may not be.
I mean, who knows
what the hell Huawei's doing these days? Sorry, Huawei fans. The only reason I say that is because they won't sell a damn phone here.
Yeah, they are making a big fuss.
Yeah, I don't know if Huawei's phones are, but I don't think the Mate 10 is. Oh no, I think one of the Mate 10s is, right, or no?
The Mate 10 Pro, maybe. I don't know.
And we know so much about the Mate 10. Clearly, I'm pulling up specs right now.
Oh, all right.
Okay, yeah. So the Mate 10, no. The 10 Pro, yes. IP68.
All right. So the Pro,
Mm-hmm.
always doing it.
So always getting there too. So I guess that really does just leave Essential, OnePlus, and Razer. But this is Razer and Essential's their first phone.
Why couldn't Essential do water? Like, it doesn't even make sense that this doesn't have waterproofing. I mean, there's like absolutely nothing to this hardware. It's like a single piece of metal.
There's like 2 ports. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a single port. You've got your SD card slot and the speaker. It seems like it totally would have been possible. Maybe the Essential 2. I know you've already talked about this, but the Essential 2 is like the phone I think you and me are both looking forward to the most for 2018.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming they can dial some stuff in.
Yeah.
But water resistance would be nice. Like you said, there's like nothing to this hardware. It seems like making it water resistant would be fairly easy. I don't know what goes into that. Obviously, everything has to be sealed right inside of these ports. So
blues and all that.
But they seem like a company who obviously they push hardware design pretty heavily here. Like they care about stuff like that. So they're not just re-releasing Oppo phones.
Ouch.
So I would imagine they will probably try to seal that bad boy up. Actually, I bet they've said in one of their AMAs, but I don't know. Has Essential actually said like we're building a second phone? They haven't said that yet, have they?
No.
Oh well. They have to.
Yeah.
They're valued at billions of dollars.
Exactly. Mohan says Razer looks solid. Some water not gonna hurt it. Dude, if water, I can guarantee water gets into these speaker grills on the front. I mean, they're huge holes in there, and you're done for. And I'm assuming that's why this definitely doesn't have any water resistance, because the speakers are huge.
Wow.
So they would just get done for.
Yeah, it would probably take a lot to make that water resistant, and those speakers still sound good.
Yeah. Well, they'd probably sound like crap if they did it, right? Because they'd have to be like covered up specially or whatever. Yeah. So I'd rather have better sound, I guess. On this, since it's a media phone, one that will never leave my house and is just going to sit on the coffee table, it doesn't need water resistance, I guess. But if for a phone I'm taking outside, I would like it to have water resistance.
Yeah, but so like I do a lot of stuff in the kitchen. I'm constantly setting my phone down on like my kitchen counter, and that's typically sort of near a sink, or if I'm cooking, whatever, right? There's liquids around. And when I'm using the Essential phone, I have to worry about that. But like if I'm using the Pixel 2 or something else, like I just kind of set it. Like I don't really care. If something spills on it, it'll be fine. But like the Essential phone, I have to worry about it. I usually set it like up on the little like lifted bar part or whatever, because then there's no water. So those are things that I don't want to have to worry about. So water resistance should just be there. All right, potential final topic. This could be a quick one. We talk about TV streaming services here and there. We talk about YouTube TV a lot, PlayStation View. There's a new one out called Philo, 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 and it is $16 a month, and you get 37 channels. The channel lineup's not terrible. It's like A&E, AMC, Animal Planet, BET, CMT, Comedy Central, Discovery, Food, FYI, HGTV, Travel, IFC, MTV, VH1. So they're calling it like an entertainment package. So there's no sports at all. So no ESPN, no NFL, no NBA, none of those like sports networks are on there at all. And that's probably exactly why it's cheap, because ESPN charges like crazy amounts of money for you to have like a good third of your cable package that you probably subscribe to, whether that's through Comcast or another streaming service, is probably ESPN. Like they charge an absurd amount of money to these providers. So this doesn't have any of the sports, so $16 a month, or there's like a $20 package that has another 9 channels. So either 37 or 46. There's no Android app though. So kind of garbage. Yeah, like I was writing it up and I was like, this actually sounds kind of cool if people don't care about sports at all and want cheap streaming TV. And then I got to like where it was supported, and it works on the web and iOS and Roku. And then there was like this note that says it works on Android via Chrome soon. So that tells me like on Android on your phone, you're gonna have to pull it up in your Chrome browser on your phone, and then maybe cast from there to TV or something. So like they don't even have that. That sounds like they're not even working on an Android app. That's not good.
That's not a good look.
No.
I
Like
mean,
you and I complain when there's not an Android TV app. These guys don't even have an Android app.
that's not good.
So that's really bad.
Well, not only that, but no sports. I mean, come on, like I want to know
Wow.
the percentage of people who are watching TV and not ever watching sports. I mean, that's got to be tough, right? I know, sure, some people probably do, but like I would assume that a lot of people watch TV to watch some sports. So
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised how many people don't watch sports at all, especially in this space that we work in.
that's good.
There's some nerds out there that don't like sports.
Hey, now, come on, nerd. That's derogatory.
Hey, I'm a nerd and I do like sports.
Socially challenged. Is that like that?
So bad. You don't like sports? You are challenged.
Sports are good. Bonding, etc., etc.
Speaking of streaming TV service, I do have breaking news. I canceled PlayStation View. Done. Walked away from it.
Nice, man.
So I did that because I'm a month now without being able to log in to the Android TV app. Have I talked about this at all yet?
Nope.
So like a month ago, we're totally on a different subject now that I wasn't planning, but PlayStation View, like it refreshed on my Shield TV. And I was like, oh, okay, I need to log back in. It does that every once in a while. Type in correct credentials, starts spinning like it's logging in, then zips back to the login page. So I tried and tried and tried. A couple days went by. I kept trying. Android TV app wouldn't log in. I can cast to it. I can log in on computer, phone, anything except Android TV. So I finally like looked online and no one said a thing, right? So I went on PlayStation's forums and like I was the guy that created the bug thread. And I was like, yeah, your Android TV app sucks. And sure enough, like all these people piled on after me and were like, same with me. It's like a month went by. No response from PlayStation in there. I contacted their support. They had no idea. Said they were giving me a $10 credit that I never got, like just never showed up. And so, and I finally just canceled it and said, no, I'm just not going to pay for this crap. And like, look, I could cast it, but we just talked about our thoughts on casting. So yeah, that's just not good. So I have YouTube TV, and then I signed up for like the base Sling TV package too. So I have two streaming services. Well, so I need it. We talked about this, I think, on the last show. Like YouTube TV doesn't have Turner, so it doesn't have NBA TV, TNT. I think, and HGTV doesn't have those either. So I got $35 for YouTube TV, and then Sling, I think I'm paying 20, 25, 20, 25, I think, because I think I added a sports package. But basically, I think it's 20 and 35. So I'm still paying like $55, which is more than I was paying for View, but hell with View. So Sling has all the Turner and travel and all that stuff. It has all those channels I needed.
I've just been really liking YouTube TV. Now that there's that native app, dude, I'm just like, I'm in love. It's so easy. I got all my shows on there. It's really great. People always talk about DirecTV Now and like their channel lineup and stuff, but like I don't want to mess with DirecTV Now. I don't know why. It just sounds dirty to me. Like DirecTV.
Well, so Bertzer just brought it up. I can't because they don't have NBC SN Northwest, which is where the Blazers games are. And so that's why I'm not on DirecTV Now. Unless I haven't looked in a while, but last I checked, DirecTV Now still didn't have that channel. And if I don't have that channel, that means I can't watch the Blazers, and I'm not signing up for that service. So that's why I have to pick and choose.
Yeah. And the Blazers aren't completely terrible this season, so it's actually been fun to watch them play. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Looking again now while we're on air. Bertzer, what do you guys have against it? That is actually what I have against it is
exactly.
Is that it does not have NBC SN Northwest. He's trying to tell me they might have it.
I don't know, buddy. Bertzer.
I'm trying to like I'm on their support trying to like find the stuff out, and it's like, oh, it wants me to sign into account to look things like, get out of here. Oh, here we go.
Get out of here, DirecTV.
I'm checking right now.
DirecTV sounds dirty because we live in a market completely dominated by Comcast. So anything that isn't Comcast just sounds wrong.
Just plugged in my zip and it says, "We are sorry, we do not carry any regional sports network channels in your area."
Womp womp.
Yeah. Not cool. DirecTV Now.
You got OCB. It
Yeah,
means
see.
OCD.
So yeah, that's why. That's why.
Yeah.
If DirecTV Now were to pick that up, they won't, because that channel is owned by Comcast and Comcast hates DirecTV and they won't let them have it. So
There you go.
at least that's what been the case around here. Like the Blazers signed it exclusive with them and they withhold it from DirecTV customers. It's been an ongoing battle around these parts for years. Little inside info there in the old Portland market.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. I don't have anything else to talk about. Anything else going on?
Two things. Reviews are out for Justice League. Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently at 39%.
They finally dropped the score, huh? Because the reviews have been out for like 2 days and everyone's going, you guys gonna post that score?
Yeah. Ooh, it just went up a tick. It's at 40%
40.
currently. So
Well,
that's
better
good.
than I thought it was gonna be.
An audience score of 86%. So it must be entertaining, but you know film critics, right? They're always so harsh. They think they're like,
You know how we get a lot of the like, you're biased, you love Samsung, you hate OnePlus, you hate HTC, you love Moto. We get that all the time. Like, you can tell that when you guys write these that you're biased. So like, first of all, I don't think we are. I just think I think we're pretty critical of everyone. But movie critics, I feel like they're the worst with that. Like, Marvel could make the worst movie ever, and movie critics would go, "Oh, the Marvel universe is so amazing." Like the newest Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is a pretty terrible movie, and they all loved it. They just think it's so great. Same with like the second Thor. That was terrible, and like they love that too. I'm not saying these DC movies are good because they're not really that good or good at all. I mean, Wonder Woman was pretty good. But I almost feel like they go into these Justice League movies going, it's going to be crap. It's going to be crap.
Yeah. Did you watch the second Guardians of the Galaxy again? Because I know when I watched it with you in the theater, you fell asleep.
Oh yeah, no, I did. It took me like 2 more times because it was so boring and so long that like it took me like 3 tries.
Yeah, it didn't recapture the awesomeness of the first one. So I'm not even going to see the new Justice League in theater. I'll just wait to rent it. Like DC characters in general just don't, besides Batman, of course, like none of these movies interest me. I loved Wonder Woman. I saw that. That was great because it was like a Marvel movie. Marvel just does it so much better. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, because I don't know. But there's something about DC movies in like their darker universe. And Ben Affleck as Batman, like it just sucks. There, I said it sucks.
It's fine. It kind of does suck.
Although, give me Khal Drogo as Aquaman like any day of the week. That is so awesome.
He's a bad dude for sure.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad as in good, like PH fat. Just to be clear.
Infinity War is going to be the biggest movie in the world.
Yeah.
What was the last Avengers movie they made? Because it was trash. What was it?
It was
Age of Ultron
Civil War, right? Civil War was the last one. No, Civil War had to have been the last one.
No, Civil War was what's his butt? Captain America.
Oh well, I thought that was more of an event. That seemed like an Avenger.
Well, it was a Captain America movie. Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron was garbage.
Avengers movie. Yeah. Wasn't very good.
And like everyone loved Age of Ultron and like set all the records.
Ultron was awesome. Like it could have been a better movie, but Ultron itself was cool.
Yes, but the movie was not that great at all. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a great movie."
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like Marvel stuff. I think some of the movies have actually been pretty good. I like most of the Iron Mans. First Avenger was pretty good. Like there've been some pretty good ones. There've also been some not so good that I just feel like all these critics just go, "Yeah, it's the new Marvel. It's gonna be great."
Yeah.
Just over it.
I still need to see Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I hear that's awesome. It's like, it's a comedy. It's not even like an action. So I'll see it.
I'll see it someday. Probably not.
Someday. I'm not in like some huge rush to go out to the movie theater and spend $40 on popcorn.
No, definitely not. It takes a lot to get to the movies now. Like it has to be something I've been really, really waiting to see because number one, I have a kid, so it's hard to get there. And number two, like Yeah, like, do I really want to go spend like if my wife and I go to a movie, it's like $50 between the two of us for
That's
the movies and like a popcorn and like a beer. Like that's ridiculous.
yeah.
But I will
Uh,
go Star Wars because it's
oh
Star
yeah,
Wars.
it's Star Wars, dude. I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah,
I will say I'm kind of over Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Like I don't like the Iron Man character anymore. Like
he's kind of annoying, right?
it's just annoying. Exactly. Like they made Tony Stark be like the captain guy, and I'm just like I'm not even like a huge fan of Iron Man, so it's been tough for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Thor is like an actual god, and he somehow is like on the same level as these other earthbound superheroes. Like, I'm sorry, like what? In what world does that make any sense?
I
But
have no
it's
idea.
Marvel. Speaking of Star Wars, though, the last topic I want to talk about, if anyone plays Galaxy of Heroes, the Grand Admiral Thrawn event is coming later this month, November 23rd.
Oh my god.
So ready your Phoenix Squad, the Rebel scum, and get some Thrawn in your life, man. Thrawn is the man. But yeah,
I have no idea what you're
I
talking
know
about.
it's like another language, but
Yeah, it really is.
it's a mobile game. It's Android related.
Yeah, I know that. I just the other stuff. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
fine though. All right, cool. Well, I should probably go check on the damage bug guy just did to my house. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It's going to be a short week next week because it's Thanksgiving. So I hope everyone has a safe and fun holiday. Don't drink too much, you crazy
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. So no show next week because that's next Friday's technically a holiday for a lot of people. We just probably won't.
Yeah.
Apologies now if there's a whole bunch of deals getting posted over the next week. That's just kind of what happens around this time. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not
We'll
sorry.
have some phone reviews though. We might have a Razer phone review next week. We should have a
Oh, God,
1.5T in the house next week.
I guess I got to shoot for Wednesday then. That's going to be tough, but I'm going to try.
We'll push Tim to get there for Wednesday potentially. But yeah, stay tuned for all that stuff. We'll have some phone. We'll have some phones to talk about next week.
We'll have some fun.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Safe weekend.
Peace.